Uh, Hi everybody. Give me a minute. Let me put everybody on. Hope everybody's doing good. Thank God we have another day of our lives. Okay, I'm just putting people on over here. Thank you for your patience. Hope everybody's feeling good. Hope to hear good news from everybody that we're doing more good things and people are getting healthier and happier. Please download the app Revy 770. Find out about all the wonderful things that are available today. We're working on getting Revy water to the world right now. Say okay. Second user. 1 second, everybody. Ah, yo, boom, 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 boom. Da da yamba, ya, da da yamba. Ay, ya, ya. Ay, ya, 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 da, da. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Ay, ya, 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 ya. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, bum, ba, da, da, bum. Oops, what happened here? Man, we're not double doing you guys. Go for back. Yo, da, da, yo, yo. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 da, da. Yeah, da, yeah, da. Yeah, 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 yeah. He Adonenu Marenu Barabenu Melech HaMoshiach Li'elam Ed Yehi Adonenu Marenu Barabenu Melech HaMoshiach Li'elam Ed Aya ya 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 oh ya ya aya ya aya ya aya ya aya ya 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 oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, sent notices to everybody. Baruch Hashem. Hello, everybody. I'm going to start the video for everybody else. Okay, hi, everybody. Baruch Hashem. We're on now another class, the second class. I'm number 5. We're talking about the holy, the miniature ma'at, and then it says in the beginning, and that shall be for them in a miniature mikdash sanctuary. This is the house of our Rebbe in Babel. Regarding the central synagogue and the study hall of Lubavitch and of the study hall of Lubavitch and Lubavitch 770. So now we're starting on number 5. We're talking about amazing things that Rebbe is explaining how that the holiness and the third base of Mikdash, the revelations of the third base of Mikdash, is right now found in 770. So, one of the things I've done, I found out many years ago that people put letters and where the Rebbe prays in 770, see a lot of miracles. And I mean, my father was on his deathbed at 91, had kidney failure, his blood count was 50,000. He was in a coma, had a heart attack. Doctor comes in, and we said the final prayers. He said, "No hope for him. Only question is whether whether we should take off his medication and let him go or leave him in this poor state, because within a week he's for sure going to be dead." So, so we, so I wrote into the Rebbe, and at that time, a friend of mine told me about writing to. I'd done it before. To write in, and that he sends it to. He was. I used to send him a text. He was in Tampa, Florida, and he would send a text to his friend in Crown Heights, who would print it out and would give it to the person in charge. So, so I did this for my father. I wrote in. The next morning, my father wakes up. The doctor had just been the day before Noel. My father wakes up. The doctor comes in a couple hours later. Says, "Open miracle. We're not doing anything." Within a week, he's out of the hospital and he's back home. Amazing things, amazing different things. So what do I mention? So we're talking about the holiness of the place. That 770 is the holiness of the place. I had a personal experience. So one of the things I set up because of that, I saw the miracles that are happening. That anybody, if they write in for blessings and help from the Rebbe, and they put it in where the Rebbe prays, um, that does miracles. I've said other miracles with it. So I set up. That's the main reason I had the app Rebbe 77 for people to write in to save their lives and to help them out, to help out the whole world, to connect to the Melech Mashiach, the Rebbe. So, so I had a very interesting experience. So, when I was a beginning doing tshuva in my earlier years, I was a young man. It must have been 19, Lamed 1973, I guess, probably 72, probably 1972, I think. And I was praying in 770 downstairs. It's a big place. It was late in the afternoon, not late, 1, 2. And I'm walking around as I'm praying. And as I get close to it was the 20th of as I get close to the where the Ksiva, the person's leading the public prayers, where he stands and where he prays, I get closer there. I feel this all of a sudden. I feel this energy of godliness. My prayers are being heard more, and I walk away from there. It goes away. I keep walking, but I can't figure out what's happening. So I noticed, I looked down and I remembered it was the yard site from the Rebbe, and he had prayed there. There was like when he would pray there, he would put a white cover, nice white cover on the podium, the stender for the person running doing the prayers for everybody. So I realized at the end I felt that of the Rebbe being there, it actually changed the place where you could feel holiness. So this is the whole concept. You go to 770, if you learn this, and you go to 770 and you realize that it's a special place, you feel it more. You not only feel it more, when you're there, when you think about it, it comes to you easily. Okay, so we're on number. So that's one. Other thing I'd like to say a few stories. Like, okay, so I have this. My name is Sri Rao. Sri, one of the things it means the will to do good. If you change the letters, and according to Atbash, it's Moishe. So my whole life is something that I know that since I'm a teenager, I'm always trying to save the world. It's been something by me. I have something good. I said, how can I give it out to everybody? This is a nature I have. This is what God gave me, the will to do good. So when anything I find something's good, I try and figure out how to give it out to the world. So before I was religious, I was into macrobiologics. I remember during the 60s, there was all the civil rights riots and everything, and I was like 16. I went with a group. I wasn't religious at all. I didn't think about God, and we went. And we lived in the ghetto with Pasadena, different things, and I was ready to put my life on the line. That's how I'm trying to. Then I got involved in macrobiotics, which is a food regime. I was going to save the world. Then finally, God brought me to Judaism. He brought me to the Rebbe, and then I finally found out what the real stuff, the real essence to give out. It's what Baruch Hashem I'm doing right now. And so when I found out about the miracles happening from the Stender, so that the Reed said it's interesting, so therefore I set it up for the world. So and I give it out to people. People want it all the time. So yesterday I was at the health food store here over in Sfas, I see a lady, probably around my age or something. I said, "You have a smartphone?" I said, "Yeah, I just go up to people." I said, "There's an app for these." She was very interested. She told me her husband passed away recently. Her daughter has problems. So I gave her I have water I give out. And it's also, if you look on the app, it explains about the water. And we're trying to download the app for her. She has a Android. I have an Apple. I couldn't figure it out. If this person it's amazing. You're sitting in the store, this person helping. It's like you're in a big family here. You have a problem. People sit and they spend their time just to help you. And I helped her, and I talked about her son. And she felt so much. I told her how special she was, what she is, and that her husband is in a good place. I had tell this a lot, and when I was praying for my father, this is during COVID, during the when you people were like not going out and stuff. Because this in Los Angeles, I was praying at a certain shul, that the praying outside. I had difficulties or whatever. So I remember I'm praying for my father, and I've had a lot of difficulties, hardness in my life, difficulties or whatever. So I remember I'm praying for my father, and I've had a lot of difficulties, hardness in my life, a lot of trials and tribulations at that point. And I look up like this. Up here, my father is smiling it from me above. His face, he was like to say, ripe old age. He was ripe old age. He was like totally beautiful, totally wonderful. There was nothing old except ripe. He was ripe, amazing. And it made such a change in me. Because I mean, you sometimes see things, you hear things, and you don't know if it's real, or it could real. But when you see it, and it's such a change, so I told her, I said, "This is my," and I told her that he's in a really good place us above. You don't have to worry about him, and that she just has to try and do good, accept different things. I spoke with her, and my Hebrew's not the best, and her Hebrew, well, she knows Hebrew, but she's from France. She was writing, so opened up the app, she wrote in a bracha for herself, and as I say, I saw her later on, she was happy. So this is the concept that we should do good and find good stuff and spread it out, and all the world wants it. There's another person I met there. When I had to go to the doctor, I always try and take a few of these little bottles with me. Um, I have it in front of me. Little bottles of Rebbe water, miracle water from the Rebbe. And I always find somebody, if I take it, somebody needs it. I remember I went there was a young lady, probably in her late 20s. He was also like in his late 20s, her husband. She was very pregnant, very pregnant. And he was. I asked him. I told him about the app and the rep. They were so happy. They took the water. They took the app, and they said thank you so much. I go around and I pass out these little brochures about Geula people. So it's an amazing thing. So what this means is that we're more in times of Mashiach, because everybody wants, and all you got to do is give it to them. So, anyways, that's a story that happened to me recently. So let's go. Okay, now, so we're talking about how really that says that Mashiach. So yes, so the last class, at the end of the class, we're talking about. Let's read this, and then we'll go further. The last paragraph before 5, and we may possibly say that this is alluded to in the words of the Rambam. We're talking about how the future mikdash will be not in Yerushalayim but in Galus, the beginning. It says he will build. No, let's go further. In other words, just as the return of the Shekhinah is from the place that it is found in exile, likewise the return of the future Mikdash, whose concept is the dwelling and revelation of Shekhinah, is from the place that the Mikdash traveled and settled there in the time of Galus, that there it is where it is revealed first. The whole holiness of the base of Mikdash is revealed first, and but there will relocate to this place in Yerushalayim. It's an amazing thing the Rebbe is saying. And we may possibly say that this is alluded to in the words of the Rambam, the laws of King Mashiach, that he will. It says over there he will build a mikdash in its place. They said, what's it mean, b'makoma? It says, bana mikdash b'makoma. What's it mean in its place? He will build a mikdash in its place. And seemingly, what is necessary to tell us that he will build a mikdash in its place? Why is it going to tell us that he will build the mikdash in its place? You could just say he's going to build the mikdash. On the other hand, why does it not say the actual place that he will build the mikdash in Yerushalayim? This is a chiddush of the Rebbe. Rebbe's looking at this and telling us something brand new that nobody ever figured out before. Only in his place, hence also that to the place that the king Mashiach is in the time of exile. This is 7-7. Before indeed he's Mashiach beyond doubt, that he reaches a level that that is before he's Mashiach Vada. I know behind what's this mean? Sheb Yosef Bagalus, that since he's in the exile, Shesham Yoshvim Umtanim Umtsapen Lukal Ibn Israel, that he's sitting there in the exile and waits and anticipating to redeem the Jewish people and the Shekhinah with them from the exile. The King Mashiach will build a miniature mikdash. In other words, King Mashiach, before we go to the final base of mikdash, is going to build one, which is similar to the mikdash of Israel, that the holy temple of Yerushalayim, like the synagogue of Shapha Yosef, the mikdash that travel and settle there, as a preparation for the future mikdash, which this will be revealed there first. So first, the holy temples are revealed in 770, and there it will return with Hashem and the Jewish people to Yerushalayim, to Jerusalem. So, what was I looking over here? So it says over here, the King Mashiach will build a miniature mikdash which is similar to the mikdash in Yerushalayim. And it says a footnote 38. The Rebbe says, Ulai yesh nemor. It says it's a big kiddush, a big new thing. Maybe. Rebbe generally says there is to say. He's being humble. Rebbe's telling us something new that nobody else revealed before. Now he says even when it's Ulai, maybe there is to say. It means it's even something more hidden that he's revealing. He says, and it's possible we may say that the statement in the Midrash, excuse me, Yakshmuni Yeshayahu, Remes 499, that when the King Mashiach comes, he will stand on the roof of the base of Mikdash and announce to the Jewish people, saying, humble ones, the time of your redemption has arrived, referring to the roof of the base of Mikdash, of the miniature base of Mikdash, outside the land of Israel, which is in the place of the mikdash of Yerushalayim, the holy temple of Yerushalayim, where that had traveled and settled there. For after the future mikdash, hold on, the roof and the base of Mikdash, the miniature outside Jerusalem, which is the place of the Mikdash. For after the future Mikdash will be revealed and descend below, it will not be necessary to announce to the Jewish people the time of your redemption has arrived. So my Rebbe is saying here an amazing thing. I tell people in 91, 92, when the Rebbe used to bring in that they used to have like these big hookups that now is like nothing, but at that time it was in infancy. They used to have a whole room, and the whole room had to have the whole room was used to send out to 10 different cities in the world, and they had like a dish that was like 2-3 stories high, a satellite dish. It was like, and this was now you just pick up your phone and you connect with everything 1, 2, 3. So the Rebbe saw that in times of they said there won't have to be an announcement because we know now it's simple, davar pashut, that when something happens, everybody knows right away. You don't have to make an announcement because of everything is because of the news and everything. So this is a very interesting thing. So it says over there, the Rebbe is saying it's a Bechiddush, that the Rebbe, when we have hookups, we would have these satellite hookups. That's like the Mashiach is standing on the roof. The satellite is on the roof. That's standing on the roof of the Holy Temple, and he's at the time of redemption comes. This is what the Rebbe is doing. This is what this Sikha is doing. This is what the Rebbe is saying right now, and he said this in a talks thread that went through all the world through the satellite. Amazing stuff. So let's go for okay. So now we're on number 5, and we may add that in explaining the virtue of the house of our Rebbe, that its advantage, the synagogues and study halls in Babel. Another thing is amazing when you're learning Dvar Malchus is that when we're learning this, this is the new Torah of the Messiah, Mashiach, the redemption. That the Rebbe tells amazing things, and he keeps going. to more amazing things. Like this is beyond amazement. Now we're going to see, everybody's going to see even more, going deeper into amazement, deeper into stuff. So let's see. That's it. We may add that in explaining in the virtue of the house of our Rebbe in Babel, that its advantage over the synagogues and study halls in Babel is, what's advantage? Is that in addition to the synagogues and study halls aspects in the house of our rabbi, also due to being the house of our Rebbe. I have to look this in Hebrew and I'm saying here. Yesh lo sitchabiyu ha'ila the base mixture of Babel, Shemailus gabi base mixture say. He nosav on minus a basic condition base of madrashim base of brain. Gam matzat ha Yosef base Rebbe. So he says, in addition to the fact that it's the house being at the house of our Rebbe is undefined of all the Jewish people, the leader of our Rebbe in Babel, the leader of the rabbi of all the Jewish people in the diaspora. This is the house of the leader of a generation, which the leader's everything. So let's go over this again. So the Rebbe says, and there's to add, in explaining the special quality of the base Rebbe of Babel, my Lusa Lagabi, that is a special quality in reference to all the other the shuls and the midrashim that were in Babel, all the other ones. He, in addition, that it has a special quality because it's the base kanes, it's the place of prayer and learning of the Rebbeinu. Gam mitzana Yosef base Rebbeinu. It's also in the general thing it has that it's for everybody, most special place. But it's also called base Rebbeinu, the house of our Rebbe. Rebbeinu Stam de Kol Yisrael. It doesn't say the base of this Rebbe or that Rebbe. It says our Rebbe, our Rebbeinu means for everybody. Nasi Ador. This is the house of the leader of the generation. Rebbeinu Shabbat, the leader of the generation that's in Babel in exile. Rabban shall call B'nei Golos. The Rebbe is saying that the leader of Mashiach is found that he's the head of all the Jewish people in exile. Beisa shall Nasi Hador, that it's the house of the leader of the generation. But Nasi who are called, and the Nasi's everything. So the Rebbe is saying here, and is known that this is the Rebbe's house, and he's saying here that this is the Rebbe's house, and not only it's the Nasi, which is everything, the Mashiach of our generation. Okay. The main phenomena of the dwelling of the Shekhinah is in the Jewish people. We're the main things, not a physical thing. Due to the virtue of the Jewish people and Hashem are all one. That we're one with God. As it said, that they should make a mikdash for me, and I will dwell among you. It does not say in it. And then in Hebrew, it would say besocho. It would say in it, but rather it says in you. Likewise, and there's the whole idea. It's dwelling. The base of the whole temple is dwelling in each and every person, each and every Jew. Likewise, regarding the dwelling of the skin in the time of exile in Babel, in the synagogue of miniature Mikdash 770, as emphasized in the beginning of the passage, come and see how precious the Jewish people are to Hashem, that wherever they were exiled, the Shekhinah is with them. Moreover, that the revelation of the Shekhinah, of the divine presence, the base of Mikdash, is because that is where all the Jewish people gathered, as the verse says, when all the Jewish people come to appear before Hashem, your God, in the place that He chooses. And similarly to the synagogues and study halls where 10 Jews gathered together, for the Shekhinah dwells among every gathering of 10 Jews. And never it says that the main holiness is as a result of the Jews getting together and praying. And it says any place where you have a core of 10 Jews together and they're praying, they with a great revelation. Rebbe brings down footnote 48 over here. And seeing Tanya equals the Kodesh Spirit, that I heard from my rabbis that if one angel would be found in the presence, and instead we're talking about angels, they're special. Singing to God, we're talking about praising, and one special God's creations. But there were one angel that there were 10 Jewish people together, even if they weren't speaking Torah, even if they weren't shining with godliness, speaking Torah. And the truly great A truth of no bounds would fall upon it. This angel would be so, the revelation of godliness of the Shekinah of the divine was so great from the Shekinah that it's resting upon them to the extent that it would expire and completely cease to existence. It would like go out of its existence. Too much light. It says when the Torah was given, it says that when God said the first two commandments, I'm the Lord your God, took you out of Egypt, and there should be no other gods besides me. So it says over there that the souls for each word, the souls this went up above and went back to God. What happened? There was so much light that was revealed that the souls it finished the whole avoda, the whole service. The reason in this world is to correct the world, to make it better. So this light came and that cleaned up everything, and so their souls went back to God, and God brought them back down. It says in the times of the future when the dead wake up, it says that will be from the tall, from the dew, a special dew will come down from heavens. So it says this dew brought them back into being. But why I'm bringing this up shows you that there's a level and with so much revelation of godliness that things can become just burnt out of existence. The same thing here, the angels, that when when they're in by a congregation of Jews, even the highest of all angels, they can't stay as existence. They come out of existence and included back into God. Okay, this ending. Okay, and we may say, where are we holding? They were over 48. Hold on a second, guys. Each and every country. Okay. And based on this level, we may explain that the virtue of the house of our Rebbe in Babel, that since it is a permanent place, a house of the leader of the generation, that the leader, the Nasi Lokol, is everything, who includes the entire generation. It has in it the dwelling and the revelation of the entire Shekhinah, not only parts that dwell and revealed among 10 Jews, everything. There are different levels of the indwelling of the Shekinah, of the divine presence, similarly to the dwelling and the revelation of the Shekinah in the base of mikdash. It's an amazing thing, which the mikdash, the whole we've traveled and settled there. Maybe he's quoting from how in times quote throughout the Sikha, throughout this country, but the main place always went to one place to another. From it is drawn forth from this place the dwelling and the revelation of the Shekhinah in all the synagogues and study halls in the lands with which they come, like the base of Mikdash from which the light goes out to the whole world. The Rebbe says an amazing thing here. He says this main sanctuary that is in place of the Holy Temple, which is have we go on later at 770 and now he says that all the light from the whole world comes from that because it's the Holy Temple that's in the exile. And just like from the Holy Temple, it shined everything out. That means the life force of all the synagogues, all the pride, everything can come to that. We have to understand the specialness of 770 and that such a thing exists. And all you have to do is go to 770. After you learn the Sikha, if you go to 770, you'll see what the Rebbe is talking. You'll feel it. It's amazing. And we may say that the house of our leader of the generation, who includes the entire generation, is similar to Tapeos. Tapeos. A tile, mound that all the payos, all the mounds turn to. Tapeos is a Hebrew term. It says it, but it says over here that means that everybody turns to it. They're all praying to it. Regarding the base of Mikdash, when we pray to God and we pray the special prayer 3 times a day, we face the Holy Temple. So it says that, and we may say that the house of the leader of generation, who includes the entire generation, is similar to Tapeos. That similarly, that everybody's looking towards it. Everybody's going, just like the Holy Temple, since this is the Holy Temple that's in Golos, so everybody's looking. This is a chiddush from the regular thing. As the exposition says regarding the base of Mikdash. But of the Iker, Hamayla, the base of Mikdash. Of the Iker, Hamayla, the base Rebbeinu Shabbat, Nogeb Lagula. And the more mainly it says the virtue of the house of our Rebbe and Babas regarding the redemption. It said Rabbeinu Nasi Ador Hu Gam Mashiach Go Olam Shel Yisrael Badora. It says our Beinu, our leader, he's also the Mashiach, the redeemer of the generation. Just like Moses was the first leader, he's called Moses, but was called Rishon called Achron, the first and the final redeemer. As is known that in every generation there's one person befitting his righteousness. The call Gadur Chabakal Yesh no Echad Roim Mitzvah Leaves Goya. Was a good Giyazman God Yegala Lava Hashem Yisbrak B'Yisachol. That every generation is as though one person befitting his righteousness to be the Redeemer, and when the time comes, Hashem will reveal himself to him and send him. And it is reasonable to say that it is the leader of the generation, as clearly writes in Talmud. So the Rebbe says, "Who's this person?" He says it's the leader of the generation, like it explains in the Gemara, in reference to Rebbe Yehuda Nasi. He says, "Amar Rab Iman Chaya." They're talking about over there who's Mashiach. So as they said regarding Rebbe Yehuda Nasi, they call him Rab. Said if he's from those that are alive, the candidate will be from Rabbeinu Kodesh, Rebbe Yehuda Nasi, the leader of the generation. So Rebbe is pointing out is that the leader of the generation, the Nasi Urko, that's the Mashiach of the generation. That means Rabbeinu. Rabbeinu is very special. Look at footnote 53. With this on. It says over above we said the Rabbeinu, the leader of the generation, is also the Mashiach, the redeemer of the Jewish people of the generation. So Rabbeinu, so we note that in every Jew there's a spark of the soul of Mashiach. We all have Mashiach. And based on this, we can reconcile the exposition of our sages, what they said on the verse in Balak, that a star will shoot forth from Yaakov, which refers to King Mashiach, and refers to every single Jew. There's two places. It also reads, in one place it says it refers to Mashiach. That's Yerushalmi Tainus, and then Yerushalmi Masisheni, at the end of the chapter 4, it says every Jew, which both are actually true. Why is how's this? That since, then we're explaining about how we're all part of Mashiach. Mashiach is part of us. We're all Mashiach. So, since in every Jew there's a spark of the soul of Mashiach, the level of Yechida, the soul of every Jew, that level, the inner part, how you connect to the essence of God. The spark of Yechida, the Yechida means a part of the soul. They're different parts of the soul. In the soul, we learn they're like five levels. And the first three levels are being clothed in the body. Two higher levels one is called Chaya, which is above the world, but has relevance. And the third one is just totally one with God, which is totally above anything in the world. So that's Yechida. So each Jew, this level he has is Yechida. That level is tied in to the general Yechida, which is the soul of Mashiach, the generation. So the level Yechida of every Jew is a spark of Yechida of every Jew in general. That the soul of Mashiach, it says. I'll go over this again. At the level Yechida of Yechida, a spark of Yechida of the Jewish people in general, that's in every Jew is from the soul of Mashiach. And being that the leader's everything, that he includes all the sparks of Mashiach, so everything is included in him, which is in every single Jew, and an individual aspect of it has an individual aspect of this unity of Yechida, one with God. Indeed, his soul is the Yechida of the Jewish people in general, that the soul of Mashiach. Hence, he is Mashiach of the generation. In other words, there's this level of point how your mamish is totally one God above. It talks about in the Hasidus many different levels. You're totally one with God above. And this level, how you're totally one with this part of you, is called Mashiach, the highest level. And you're a particular Mashiach, but the general one that spreads through the whole world is Mashiach himself. So therefore, when he's saying that says, the verse, it says that a star will shoot forth from Yaakov, that we're talking about the level of Mashiach. First, the simple Mashiach, and also the level of Mashiach that's in every Jew. So I say check Rebbe 770, REBBE 770. Right now I have a lot on the app. It's an app to download. The classes are on that. And we're putting them also on Rebbe770.com. rebbeco.com. It's at rev77.com, and you'll see that we have classes, and you can get the transcripts also there. You can also buy them, but probably the best, you can go to livingmashiach.com, Living Moshiach.com. You can get the books. This is the book I have. It's a bilingual. It's great because you have the original. It's in Yiddish and Hebrew. So some people don't know Yiddish, but it's the original book. You're getting the original book. How it was printed. It's bigger print, and you're having that in your library. Um, okay, so where were we holding now? Uh, 53. Sorry, guys. Okay, so then we're talking about leader again. Let's see, we did 58. Where is this from? Sorry, guys. Da yama mama yama da 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 mama. 57, interesting. Very interesting, because this is the basis people ask, did the Rebbe ever call himself Mashiach? He implied in everything he did that he's Mashiach. He didn't outright say, because he's waiting for us. But it says over here, in footnote 57, Rabbeinu Shabababel, Shekumo Rabbeinu Kodesh, that it says over there, what was it saying over there, 57? It says that it's reasonable to say that the leader of the generation has clearly written in Talmud regarding Rebbe Yehuda Nasi Rav, and says that if he's from those that are alive, we're talking about he would be Mashiach. He's Mashiach. So Rabbeinu Babel. So it says over there, the rabbi, the Rabbeinu that's in Babel, who Komo Rabbeinu Kosh. It's like he was like the rabbi that was in the Holy Land. According to this, there is to say, Shedivra Rab, Hainu Rabbeinu Kodesh, Pasuk Bagea La'atzmash, Hainu Rabbeinu Babel. So the Rebbe says over here, based on this, that we say that the words that it is Rabbeinu Kodesh, that's the one that was in the Holy Land, ruled about himself that it is Rabbeinu and he is the Rabbeinu Shabbat. The Rebbe is talking about that he rules. It said that this person is like the leader of the generation, the leader of it. And since when he made this decision, he's calling it upon himself. That's what he says. Similarly to the explanation of the wording in the Mishnah. The interesting thing, the wording in Mishnah that says din v'cheshbon. You're supposed to make a judgment and then evaluation. So it should be quite the opposite. First you make an evaluation, then you judge what to do. You go to court, they make an evaluation. He says, no, what's this mean? Based on the words of the Mishnah, that they repay him knowingly and unknowingly. That after a person knowingly rules the predicament of his friend, he rules the same for himself unknowingly. In other words, he says, this guy is didn't do this, didn't do that. He's lazy, doesn't go to work, whatever. He makes these judgments on this guy. So then it's going, since based on his judgment, they make an evaluation that regarding on his own predicament. In other words, so therefore, when he comes up above and he's having issues and stuff, they're going to make the same thing. The guy's lazy, he's a bum, whatever that. So this is the negative sense. But in the positive, we know that attribute in the Torah, positive, it's greater than the attribute of negative. So if you judge somebody positive, means that you're judging, you're viewing them in the most positive, like he's saying, this Mashiach of the generation. He's so special. You're din b'cheshbon, you're making a judgment. So this cheshbon goes back onto you, even if you don't say it. That you judge them, you're also judged. Like the Rebbe is the leader of the generation, they're also Mashiach of the generation. They're a very important thing, because the Rebbe always talks about the greatness of the prior Rebbe, his Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe, and he was saying he did this, he did that. And a lot of times you look, and what the Frierdiker Rebbe he talks about, he's teaching women. He started, but in very little Rebbe, and talking about outreach. Nobody's did like the Rebbe, but he was the beginning. But he, just like he's telling everybody and judging that the Frierdiker Rebbe, which the Rebbe said was Mashiach of his generation, he's calling himself the Mashiach of the generation. Okay, so let's see where we're holding. And from this, and now we're talking about the specialness of Mashiach. And from this is understood that the main central point of the house of our Rebbe in Babel is the redemption from Babel. What's the main thing? We're going to go to the final redemption through the empowerment to and for the general service of Jewish people to make Babel outside land into the land of Israel, and is known the expression make here outside the land of Israel. So how do we do this? Is we make our place holy. We reveal godliness, reveal the essence of God in every place in the exile. And this by revealing that and what's it mean? How's that making this place Israel? Israel, the land of Israel is a holy place where God just shines. So if you take wherever you are, from Chasidus, during Mitzvah, Tzedakah, all the different things, and you make that place shine from godliness. And when you walk, like when you walk in 770, another example, you see how it's holy, special. Which this is accomplished first and foremost for the building of synagogues and study halls and ministry of mikdash in the lands that they came to. They have to these special Torah. From them, the holiness is drawn throughout the lands of the nations. And so therefore, through that, God reveals himself in all the temples and all the synagogues and shuls, and it goes to the nation. And through this, we hasten the accomplishment, the fulfillment of the process. The Eretz Israel is destined to spread throughout the world. This is an amazing thing that Rebbe said when you set up a shul in a city, that this is like the mikdash, the place of this from learning and davening, that you spread this to the whole community, and from here it spreads this idea of spreading Israel to all the land. The entire world will then be on the level of Eretz Israel of now, and Eretz Israel will be on the level of Yerushalayim of now, and this is meant that they said that Yerushalayim will be spread over the entire Eretz Israel, which is the synagogues and study houses of Babel, will be connected to the mikdash. In other words, all the shuls since the time of that we lived in Mitzrayim, they're all going to be connected to the base of mikdash. So it's going to have this. There's a lot of shuls, Baruch Hashem. So the whole land of Israel will be Yerushalayim. Amazing stuff. And since the main aspect of the house of our Rebbe in Babel is the gathering together of all the synagogues and study halls in Babel, and sent them in Eretz Israel, connected to the base of Mikdash. So the main thing of the base of Mikdash of Babel is to bring all the Jews, all the base of Mikdash that they should be attached, they should be reestablished in the land of Israel, and they should be attached to the Holy Temple. This is one of the main things, as Rebbe says. The main thing, since the main thing of 770 is that through 770 that you're able to, that everybody's going to go through the Holy Temple. The main ministry of Mikdash in Babel, well, indeed, is not only the main ministry of Mikdash in Babel, the Mikdash traveled and settled there, rather also the actual place of the Mikdash of the future. The Rebbe puts this in italics, that the mikdash of the future is found right now in 770. That it will be revealed the future mikdash. That in it will be revealed the future mikdash, and from there will be returned to Yerushalayim. Amazing things that Rebbe's talking about to understand how Mashiach's really here, and the Rebbe's Melech Mashiach, because he's the leader of the shul. He's the man. So he's talking amazing stuff. And what it is, when you go there and you see how special it is, and you see people pray there, their prayers are answered. I actually I had a relative. I don't want to go into more detail, but he got strung out on heroin, and he had a single dad, a few kids, nice person, just had a problem. So he was going clean, and it was very hard on him because he was a lot of pain, and So he called me. I'm very close with him. So he called me, very worried. Didn't hear from him several hours. I don't know about this, but I guess I go through a lot of pain and withdrawals. And and then I didn't hear from him a while. So I wrote into the Rebbe. And at that point, I would text to my friend, and he would text his friend in my friend in was in Tampa, Florida at the time. He would text his friend in 770, and I would print it out and put it into the into where the Rebbe prays in 770. So I found out so what happened is he was going clean with terrible pain. All of a sudden I hear from him. As soon as I wrote in, I hear from him. He says, I'm feeling better. All of a sudden he went to 12 sec program, which he wasn't able to do before. And he was like just amazed. He's turned over, started believing in God, started doing it and putting out the tefillin, started just believing and having his life totally turned over. As a matter of one person had OD'd. He himself told me he'd OD'd a few times, miracles of life. And one person OD'd in their group, and he was realizing how lucky he was to say he was alive. So, but I found out that the rabbi in 770 didn't have time to give it to him. It was like a thing of urgency. So then in 770, when you go to when the Rebbe comes out, there's like a shvil, a lane that opens up. So when the Rebbe came out, he read this to the Rebbe, and it worked. And that was the Rebbe's, and even though we didn't so see the Rebbe's at 770. Now we're number 6. Based on this, well, I think we're gonna have to do another class. Okay, we're gonna start number 6. We're gonna learn more and more about 770, how special it is. I was actually I take Uber a lot, so I talk to Uber drivers. So it's not far where I live in Crown Heights. It's not very. It's about a 10-15 minute walk. But I was tired or whatever. Remember. So I was taking this guy giving me a ride, and he ended up. He says he's from Nigeria, and he told me, he's talking to me, and and he told me that he knew the Rebbe because he used to see the Rebbe walking a lot. The Rebbe was always nice to him. I forget what he told him, but he was very impressed. And no, I was talking. No, I was talking about 770 Mashiach. Mashiach's here. I'm sorry, and that's very special, and that it's about the Rebbe, just generally Mashiach, and the Rebbe. He's the Mashiach with generation. People sing all kinds of miracles. As we were driving down Kingston, which is a street near 770, there was a picture of the Rebbe it was actually a U-Haul. They rent these and they go out to do outreach with them. I look at him and that's the man. And he looks at me and he says, yeah, I know that man. I used to see him walking. And he was always very nice to me. So I told him that 770 is the central place. You should go there and pray. And he looked at me and said, will they allow me in there? I said, yeah. I said, better not wear a cross if you can. But sure, no, they'll allow you in there. He was amazed. People are amazed that you have no idea. Please check what's doing in the world. We have so much available for us to do good and help people out. It's unbelievable. So Zag, be well, everybody. Now we're going to start on Vav on number 6, and this is that will be the third class. Kol Tov. Okay, I'm going to take a break. Is there any questions that I can answer on you guys? You guys can help you with, if anything. Any questions about the Messiah or nothing? Any questions about how you can do better in your own life? Questions about me? No serious questions. But ask when the Messiah will come. Well, we believe that the Lubavitch Rebbe is Messiah and he's here, although we can't see him, but his actions are here, and we believe he's here already. But there's a difference between Messiah being here and the final redemption. So the Messiah comes before the final redemption. That's what we're talking about here. The Messiah is in 770, as the Rebbe explains further on. So therefore, the power of Messiah is here. It's also very good because we know that we can do. Our job is to bring the redemption, and in order to do that, we have to get the power from the Messiah of our generation. So the people write into the Rebbe. People buy water from the Rebbe. Look on the app; you'll find out much more. Rebbe 770. You'll look much more about all the classes about Mashiach. Anything else? Any other questions about Mashiach, God, what's happening now? Why we see so many miracles that people are trying to kill all the people over here, and we see miracles that these missiles don't hurt us. They're a little bit, not bad, nothing compared to what should be. That's all because of the awakening of people awakening back to godliness. I recently saw an article in the newspaper saying that there's a lot of people throughout, and it was in America, a lot of people are now returning to God. Very special time, and by learning what we're teaching, it will help you out to become happier and special. The concept is that because the person you ask is the question is if the power of Messiah is here, why is there the world so corrupt? Because it's a process. In other words, Messiah comes before the final redemption, and he helps bring the final redemption. That the Rebbe says that now we're in it, that before now there was a darkness, and we had to try and take away, get rid of the darkness, like take it, clear off all the dirtiness, the bad stuff, so it should shine. The Rebbe says we reached a level where everything's done, and now that's a great light, and that there's a covering that tries to cover it over. So, I mean, if you want to know the corruption, I don't know why, but there shouldn't be. Rebbe says that we're in the highest level of redemption. But you have to concentrate on the good, because there is corruption, and all of that is part from God, and that we have to work through to refine the world. The idea that there's negativity is for us to be stronger and fight against it, and know that we have special powers in our generation. And it works. I mean, you can be in bad shape, and all of a sudden, the next set, you forget it all, and you're just doing good and helping people out. The same person. So this power of the Mashiach is much more here than ever before. That's why there's the water from the Mashiach. I have to go on my app. Rebbe 770 explains about it, and all different things that's available now. Also, we know science-wise, it says that in times of Mashiach, it says that in times. I'm trying to think. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. It says in the Zohar that the times before Mashiach that the heavens of the earth will open up, which means that all the new things in science, computers, is all signs of Mashiach. But spiritually, there's a big awakening, and it's coming down. Godliness is more available than ever before, and this is found in the physical world with all the great revelations. There's one thing, for instance, I'm not a big scientist, but there's a thing called fractals. You can look it up, fractals. And fractals is basically it works the way I saw it is that it works that a Jew who was escaped from the Holocaust, he made a theory that if you make a X and Y axis and one is real numbers, one is imaginary numbers, which I'm not that good in all that stuff, and you make an equation with these, and this equation marks a spot and it completes repeating on itself. And it says, and if you do it, and now that we have computers, we can do it in a very fast way, that this will create like a world. This will create like this, depending on how you put it's interesting when there's more density, so you code the colors according to density. So if you change the density, change the colors, the whole picture changes. Not just the same picture with different density, but and then they found out in science that this is like like in the hippie eras when the tie dyes where the same thing is going at by itself, growing by itself. That's the idea. They find they found that this is amazing thing. They use this science now for graphing things. They use this science for medicine. They're able to now find before anything happens who's predisposed to cancer, different things like that. Amazing. You look fractals. You look at it up. Now the oldest thing in the oldest book that's attributed of the Kabbalah, which is attributed to Avraham Avinu, talks about the concept of gematrias. And we're talking about it in a lot right now. And Like we have a custom that we do a daily classes, one in Tanya, one in the Chumash, the Parsha for the day, and Tehillim. So recently we're talking about this in our daily classes. That now everything is comes from the words of Hashem that they see, and we've seen the creation of the world. There are 10 utterances, and from these utterances, letters, and change back and forth, they make all the creation. So it's saying that the whole concept of creation is based on numerical equations, which is this is revealed now by fractals. Um, Somebody's asking, when will the Temple Mount be built? Well, everything's already done. It's there, and we're waiting for it to come down from the heavens. And according to this, what the Rebbe says over here, it will first come down into the whole into 770. There we'll go to the one. But it's all temple is built above, just waiting for us to finish it. But the Torah say that you are chosen ones and you can kill him. No, it doesn't say that. No, you're not allowed to kill people. It's against the Torah to kill people. If they're your enemies and they're trying to kill you, you're allowed to kill them. It's self-defense. Interesting. Well, okay. Anything else? Um, Telling you, if you want to get into God, it's much easier nowadays than ever before because everything is much more revealed than ever before. Um, any other questions? We don't believe in evolution. We believe that God, especially one of the reasons for it is that evolution is not a science. There's a concept is that you call interpolate and extrapolate. So interpolate is, let's say, you know what happened 3 weeks ago and you know what happened today. So therefore, you can try and figure out what happened in between those two periods based on the mood that you know. Extrapolate means that you have two ends today and a week ago, and you're trying to figure what's going to happen 3 months from now. So the whole concept, and we see that in that this is what the Rav Shrevi says, that we see that in evolution, that there's so many. So some people say millions, some trillions. It's not very exact, and we hold that God created the world in 7 days, and He created the world that in a way that you could make a mistake. He left it in such a way on purpose, so you have a choice. Like, there's a whole story by the founder of Hasidus, the Baal Shem Tov, that the Baal Shem Tov was the first Rebbe, first Hasidic rabbi, and he always used to leave like a half a cup of half a bottle of vodka, of liquor on his table. And people were asking why. Then one person, he didn't really believe in the Baal Shem Tov, didn't believe, he thought that it wasn't real, couldn't believe that such a thing really existed. So he went to one of his Torah and wanted to spend some time to listen to him. And it says when he would either say Torah, it'd either turn all white or red, I don't know, but he would change. And he walked away and he said, oh, he's just drunk, he's just shicker. So somebody asked the Baal Shem Tov, why do you do this? He says, because you have to give somebody a choice not to believe. But when you start to be, I've been involved now with Tzaddikim in a way, I'm involved in seeing how things work, and the Torah is totally true. You understand that it's true, and God can make anything any way. He can make things appear in any way. So the main thing to know is that we are hi or Samir from Yerushalayim. Check out my app, Rebbe 770, and give it to everybody. REBBE 770, and give it to all the guys. You can write in the first thing they put in the Rebbe Stender. I save lives all the time. I do it. It's a most amazing, most fun thing. I give out the water from the Rebbe. You make as much as you want. I have to go look at my app, and it's amazing when to help another person, to help somebody else, is one of the most fun things to do. And I just go talk to people. I have this special presence God gave me from the Rebbe, and the Rebbe is just unbelievable. and you make this water as much as you want, and you save lives. I have an app where people they write into the Rebbe for blessings, and they have all my classes on it. And people, I go around there, and today, yesterday, okay, so I give out bottles of water. So usually I charge a little bottle. I don't know if I have in front of me. Um, so I usually charge like a couple shekels, 5 shekels. So people say, how much money? I said, 5 shekels if you have. Not just give it to charity when you have. So I'm in shul yesterday. And the guy comes up to me. He says, he gives me 5 shekels. He says, this is for the water. I look, I didn't remember. I didn't share. And he tells me he had a problem on his arm, and he put it on and it went away. Here I am. I just go out and say good stuff, wonderful things. And people come back to me telling miracle stories. Everybody could do this. You got to realize it is a special time, and if we attach ourselves to Melch Mashiach, to the Rebbe, and we use what he gives us to make a better place in the world. I know doctors who recommend this, the Rebbe water they give to people. It's amazing stuff. Any other questions? Now I do have, if you look, and then we also have a YouTube channel. Devar Malchus explained. We have more stuff on it. We're right now putting more stuff on Vimeo. DVAR Malchus Malcus Malchus explained. So you check that out. Mitzvah Hashem, we're having more and more classes. Be well, everybody. I'm going to go. I'm going to have to do another class soon, probably a few minutes. It was a pretty long class. We only got through one chapter. So we're doing chapter Vav. Kol Tov. Bye. And God should bless you all, and that you should all come closer to the one above and be a better person.